Stop buying soulless black plastic just because the internet told you blued steel cannot survive the marsh. Most shooters think a traditional Upland profile means settling for a heavy gun that jams when it gets dirty, costing them the chance to own a true heirloom. You have never seen the bleeding-edge engineering they just dropped at SHOT Show 2026. The industry is hiding high-tech inertial systems under premium walnut. Today, we are ranking the top 5 modern classic semi-automatics that run wet shoot flat and look good doing it. Starting our tactical breakdown at number 5 is the Franchi Affinity 3 Upland. Call it the Italian sleeper. This platform brings top-tier European engineering into the deep brush without a massive premium tax. Under the hood, this scattergun runs on a highly refined inertia-driven system. Instead of bleeding off messy, expanding gases to cycle the action, it uses rearward recoil kinetic energy to compress a heavy rotary spring locked inside the bolt carrier group. That means the internal receiver stays absolutely spotless, giving you zero malfunctions even after sending hundreds of dirty bird loads downrange. Chambered in 12 gauge, it pushes heavy payloads with massive kinetic energy to completely anchor fast-moving targets at 40 yards. Imagine you are pushing through dense, freezing thickets late in the season. The weather turns violently cold, and you need your weapon to run wet. You spot a target and shoulder the weapon. Because the recoil impulse pushes like a firm hand rather than kicking like a mule, you easily stay on the sighting plane for rapid follow-up shots. Compared to heavy gas-operated systems that constantly foul up, this inertia machine gives you a sleek profile that swings fast. But here is the brutal truth. The proprietary choke tubes and factory replacement walnut will absolutely drain your wallet. Buying a new stock costs almost as much as a used pump action, which is a massive liability for a field gun that will get scratched. Retailing around $1,100, this is the ultimate instrument for the Upland operator, demanding clean reliability. Stepping up to number 4 is the Beretta AX800 Supria. Call it the masterpiece workhorse. This platform blends classic walnut and a coin-finished receiver with space-age internals, proving aesthetics do not compromise rugged performance. Under the hood, Beretta engineered a self-cleaning dual-valve gas piston system. Instead of slamming the bolt assembly backward with brutal force, this mechanism vents excess pressure right at the barrel port. It cycles seamlessly without tearing up internal buffers or requiring constant lubrication. Chambered in 12 gauge, it feeds everything from light target loads up to heavy 3-inch magnum steel shot. It delivers devastating downrange energy to completely neutralize fast-moving targets all day long. Imagine a freezing blind where the flock is circling tight and you must put 3 rounds in the air fast. Because this rig eliminates muzzle rise and the recoil pushes like a gentle shove, you stay perfectly locked onto the next target. Compared to traditional pump actions that punish your shoulder, this modern gas rig delivers incredibly smooth, rapid fire capabilities. But here is the brutal truth. The loading gate ergonomics are a massive liability. It is aggressively stiff out of the box and will bite your thumb. Fumbling with that heavily sprung lifter, wearing thick winter gloves, will absolutely cost you precious time. Retailing around $1,900, this is the ultimate instrument for the operator, demanding high-tier elegance and gas-operated reliability. Entering the elite tier at number 3 is the Browning A5 high-grade hunter. Call it the humpback legend. This 2026 release brings unbelievable Turkish walnut and deep-blued steel straight to the modern marsh, demanding respect on the sighting plane. Under the hood, it utilizes a short recoil kinematic drive system. Instead of relying on dirty expanding gas, a heavy internal spring stores the rearward kinetic energy of the fired shell. It violently throws the bolt backward, keeping the action spotless, while delivering blisteringly fast cycling speed. Chambered in 12-gauge, it handles hot 3-inch Magnum hunting loads. Pushing massive payloads at high velocity, it delivers the devastating kinetic energy required to anchor high-flying targets at maximum effective range. Imagine tracking a fast-moving flock at dawn. You can put 3 rounds in the air to neutralize multiple targets before the first empty hull hits the mud. Because the recoil pushes through your shoulder like a heavy rolling wave, you completely absorb the sharp sting. Compared to standard gas-operated models, this iconic receiver instantly forces your eye right down the barrel for superior target acquisition. But here is the brutal truth. The exterior finish is actually a massive liability. The high-gloss, clear coat reflects the morning sun like a literal mirror, which will absolutely flare wary late-season birds if you do not keep it deep in the shadows. Retailing at roughly $2,200, you pay a heavy premium. This is the ultimate instrument for the traditional operator, demanding blistering speed. Closer to the crown is the Z1012 G2 Field. Call it the working-class hero. This platform exists to give operators a rugged Turkish-crafted beauty dressed in Sunday best that perfectly hides field scratches with a matte silver receiver. Under the hood, CZ went all in on an aggressively tuned inertia bolt block. Instead of relying on a traditional heavy return spring buried deep in the stock, they wrapped a flat wire spring directly over the magazine tube. Chambered in 12-gauge, it pushes massive hunting payloads out of a 28-inch barrel. It delivers the maximum kinetic energy required to absolutely neutralize fast-crossing targets at 50 yards. Imagine you are dragging this rig through the worst thickets you can find on a brutal late-season deployment in the field. You spot a target and pull the trigger, breaking cleanly, like a brittle pine needle snapping under a heavy hunting boot. Compared to standard inertia systems, this forward-weighted bias puts the mass right between your hands, allowing the weapon to swing with absolute authority. The recoil delivers a blunt thud, like a padded boxing glove instead of a sharp crack to your shoulder. But here is the brutal truth. While it flawlessly cycles heavy hunting magnums right out of the box, it gets incredibly picky with ultra-light, 1-ounce target loads. You will absolutely suffer frustrating stovepipes if you try to run cheap low brass before the action fully breaks in. Retailing around $750. This is the ultimate instrument for the budget-minded operator, demanding rugged inertia reliability. Taking the absolute throne at number 1 is the Benelli Ethos Elite. Call it the heirloom dominator. This platform exists to be the ultimate blend of heritage aesthetics and ruthless modern reliability, completely dominating the upland fields. Under the hood, it utilizes an advanced inertia-driven bolt, coupled with a progressive comfort recoil reduction system built directly into the wooden stock. Instead of relying on a solid piece of wood, the rear of the stock hides a series of interlocking flexible synthetic leaf springs that compress under fire. Chambered in 12-gauge, it feeds on shells of any size, pushing heavy 3-inch Magnum hunting payloads. It delivers the massive kinetic energy required to ethically neutralize fast-moving targets at maximum effective range. Imagine you are pulling up on a fast crossing flock in a pristine upland field. You pull the trigger, and it breaks beautifully like a fragile glass rod, shattering on solid concrete. Because the stock completely absorbs the brutal rearward force before it ever reaches your shoulder, you stay perfectly on target for rapid follow-up shots. Compared to the Browning at number 3, it gives you the same blistering cycling speed, but with a recoil management system that puts the Beretta AX800 Supria at number 4 to absolute shame. But here is the brutal truth. Retailing around $2,300 at the gun counter, it requires a massive upfront financial investment that will instantly alienate budget operators. This is the undisputed king for the serious operator, demanding an A-grade satin walnut rig that will outlast you and your grandkids. That wraps up the top 5 modern classic semi-automatics, dropping from SHOT Show 2026. The industry is finally figuring out that operators do not have to settle for a soulless plastic paddle just to get modern reliability when the weather turns nasty. Whether you are running that top-tier Benelli or saving cash with the CZ, these heirloom-quality wood and steel rigs will keep you anchoring targets when cheap tactical shotguns freeze up in the mud. It is all about finding the exact balance between looking good on the rack and running hard in the field. Make sure you find the right fit for your shoulder and your wallet before next season opens up. Now it is time to sound off in the comments. Are you ready to upgrade to a true heirloom rig, or are you absolutely terrified of scratching beautiful wood out in the thick brush? Drop your answers down below. Train hard, stay sharp, and I will see you on the next deployment.